is approaching. We had our own Rachel Ramatar find out what GSU Students Veterans Association has to offer its students.
Childhood and adult obesity is a continuing issue. Georgia State's assistant professor in the School of Public Health, Rodney Lynn, tells us how we can overcome this epidemic.
Electronic cigarettes are the most recent addition to the selection of tobacco products. What are they and how are they different from standard cigarettes? These stories and more tonight on Panther Report. Good evening, I'm Jayla Bell.
And I'm Yasmina Alston. GSU biology professor Rodney Nash has created a product that could help researchers in trying to find a cure for cancer and other diseases. NeuroX is the name of the product, which is animal and blood product free. Nash believes NeuroX will help researchers conduct more accurate studies of both human cells and diseases, according to the GSU site. Nash already has a distributor, and NeuroX is being sold commercially. Nash is also president and chief executive officer of Givon Biosciences Incorporated, a stem cell company in GSU's Collab Tech biotechnology business incubator.
We sat down with Student Veterans Association President Jeremy Jefferson, who explains what is available to GSU student veterans. Rachel Ramatar has more on the story.
As Veterans Day nears, GSU honors the men and women who served under the Stars and Stripes with the Haverty Lecture, the first celebration of any kind for student veterans on campus. The lecture entails a panel discussion on the mental health issues facing military veterans. The Student Veteran Association works with veterans to help them transition more smoothly into the college swing by providing mixers, counseling sessions, and supporting the Military Outreach Center.
The Student Veterans Association, we have a parent group in DC, and what we do is advocate for different resources here on campus for the student veteran population. So we serve as a support group for people that have served in the military, regardless of your branch, and we advocate for different resources, such as this Military Outreach Center, to help ease that transition and make it as smooth as possible. Our mission here, our job here, is to send that information out to the student veteran population. Well, the Military Outreach Center is something that we've been working on for about 3 years now, so it allows the student veteran to come in and they can mix and mingle with different veterans while they're here. You know, if they have time in between classes, they can come relax. If they, have a question about their military benefits, they come here, and this is where they're certified for the semester. Student Veterans of America, our parent chapter, reports that 88% of veterans in the first year of college drop out. And Atlanta in itself and Georgia State can be a very overwhelming city, a very overwhelming campus. So we advocate for the different resources, and we help ease that transition. We help make it easier. We're a support group.
For GSTV News, I'm Rachel Ramatar.
Georgia State Athletics received a $350,000 donation last week from Frank and Judy Strickland. The funds will be used toward the construction of a new weight room in the football practice facility. Coach Trent Miles said of the donation, "The Strickland's contribution will assist us across the board as we build this football program and will allow our players to be better prepared physically to compete and win at the FBS level." Both Stricklands are Georgia State graduates.
November is known as International Education Month. Each week, GSU will commemorate different countries, including South Korea, South Africa, Brazil, and China. For details on Georgia State celebrations, go to the website listed below.
Electronic cigarettes have become the new way to smoke. What are they and how are they different from traditional cigarettes?
Electronic cigarette usage is increasing as a form of replacing tobacco and nicotine-based cigarettes. Pricing and health concerns have led some students to explore this option. Georgia State University has received a $19 million grant, the largest in school history, to explore smokeless tobacco over the next 5 years. The study aims to understand the decision-making process of tobacco use, shed light on economic behavior, and understand the effects of marketing concerning perception of risk.
Smokeless tobacco is, simply put, something like this. It's an e-cigarette. It's actually not regulated right now. It's not under the standard tobacco laws because it's not tobacco. Essentially what it is a flavor with a chemical inside of it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Hookahs are also a part of the study, and according to Dr. Michael Erickson, the smoke from a hookah is water-cooled, so it doesn't feel as harsh, but it's not filtered, so the smoke still has the same toxins in it. It could actually be more harmful because it's easier to inhale and not cough, plus you inhale the fumes from coal.
I felt like it would be a better option and hopefully ultimately cheaper, but it probably won't be in the long run. I don't know. But yeah, I was tired of inhaling like burnt chemicals into my lungs, so I figured, vapor is probably better.
The common student perception is that smoking electronic cigarettes and other forms of tobacco are healthier options. It will be interesting to see if the next 5 years of Georgia State research agrees. This is Taylor Gibson reporting for GSTV.
Coming up on Panther Report, do you use Instagram? Changes to the popular social media site are coming. We'll tell you more after the break.
Presenting your Georgia Power Energy Efficiency Team. Helping you save money and energy around your dorm and apartment, one easy tip at a time. Laundry do's and don'ts.
Wash your clothes a full load at a time in warm or cold water.
On November 2nd at the Georgia Dome, the Parents Association partnered with the Student Alumni Association in assembling a tailgate celebration as part of the Family Weekend festivities. Families of Georgia State students were encouraged to come out and participate in carnival games, to win prizes and enjoy food from Skip's Hot Dogs before the Panthers faced off against Western Kentucky. The event connected parents and families to the Panther experience.
Dr. Rodney Lynn from Georgia State School of Public Health tells us about the ongoing problem of obesity and ways we can prevent this from happening. Our own Marquise Jackson has more.
It's no secret in our country that childhood and adult obesity is an ongoing epidemic. We got a chance to talk to Dr. Rodney Lynn with Georgia State School of Public Health to discuss the ongoing research and what we can do to combat obesity.
Discussion about obesity. But I think what gets lost in that is that healthy behaviors are really the most important thing, irrespective of where you are in terms of your weight status.
According to Dr. Lynn, our surrounding environment affects our physical activities and diets we choose.
We have underweight people or people that are normal weight that are inactive and eating, unhealthy diets, and they're at increased risk for all sorts of illnesses. So regardless of where you are on the health spectrum, what we want to do is get people making healthy choices.
Marquise Jackson reporting for GSTV News.
It comes as no shock that another source of social media has added advertisements. Instagram, a picture-sharing app available through the Apple App Store and Google Play Store, officially ran its first advertisements last Friday. The ad was sponsored by fashion brand Michael Kors and received many yet mixed reviews. According to USA Today, more ads on Instagram are expected in the coming weeks and are estimated to possibly bring in $340 million in revenue for Facebook by next year.
Over 100 students crowded Georgia State University this past Saturday, but no classes were in session. The Unity Plaza was packed as the Zeta Mu chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha hosted an event called Stroll Like an Alpha. Young women from Georgia State University were given the opportunity to mimic the fraternity's style and dance while also competing for first place. This year's winners were Black Ice. The team was led by current chapter member Jovan Page. Sports with Neha Ali is coming up next on Panther Report.
Presenting your Georgia Power Energy Efficiency Team. Helping you save money and energy around your dorm and apartment, one easy tip at a time. Laundry do's and don'ts.
Don't use too much detergent. Rinse in cold water.
College basketball is just around the corner. The Georgia State men's basketball team is noticeably prepared for the upcoming season after defeating the Shorter Hawks 90-60 for one of two exhibition games last week. Key players of the game included R.J. Hunter, Ryan Harrow, and Curtis Washington. Harrow led the Panthers with 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists, followed by Hunter, who had 16 points and 8 rebounds. It was GSU's defense which would pull in the victory. Washington totaled 8 of the team's 14 blocks, and the Panthers had 53 boards compared to the Hawks' 39.
So, boy, he was a little antsy, and then my guy over here to the right really settled down in the second half and played. But great team effort. I thought, again, we just needed this type of game in a sense to get a lot of the stuff out. Our goal, we always talk about we want to hold teams to 60. I thought we held 24 in the second half. Our defense settled down. We quit giving wide open shots. And so, we still got some chemistry issues to work out. Way too many turnovers. Wow, 14 block shots. Wow.
To complete exhibition play, GSU faced Fort Valley State on Monday at the GSU Sports Arena. Sports reporter Davon Kimball has more on the story.
This past Monday, the Georgia State Panthers took the court as they played their final exhibition game against Fort Valley State. It was the first meeting between these two teams since 1989.
This isn't it has nothing to do with the teams that we play. It's always about us. So we have to practice with the sense of excellence. We have to play that way. When you're a talented group, sometimes you let your talent just kind of just play. And so I've only been blessed to have teams like this a few times. You don't get teams like this. And so we've got to make sure that everything we do, we have to play with a sense of passion and energy. And I just didn't think we did that this week. So I told them this wasn't about who we played today. We did some nice things, but for the most part, I wasn't happy about any of this today. Again, it's just I know where we're trying to get to, and I'm glad this is over with. I keep telling, I know this is a talented basketball team. As I kept telling, I told them this morning, I told them a shoot around, I told them right before I walked in here. There are a lot of coaches and media that picked us fourth in the Sun Belt. And so I told them today we look like a team that was before. I tell them that every day. Every time I see my basketball team, there was people in the Sun Belt picked us fourth. And so, are we going to practice like a fourth place team? Are we going to play like a fourth place team? If we're not, then let's do something about it. So that's the kind of mindset I'm in right now. We've been in this mindset for a long time.
After finishing up exhibition play, the Georgia State Panthers will now prep for their regular season opener against Southern Poly this Saturday in the Sports Arena. It will be their only home game for the month of November. For GSTV, I'm Davon Kimball.
Once again, men's basketball begins their regular season this Saturday against Southern Poly at 1 p.m. in the Sports Arena. Panther football fell short with a 44-28 loss against Western Kentucky at home, bringing their overall record to 0-9. Sports reporter John Michael Drain was there to cover the game.
Last Saturday, the Georgia State Panthers returned home to face the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers after a disappointing 2-loss road trip. The game also marked Western Kentucky head coach Bobby Petrino's first visit to the Dome since his overnight departure from the Atlanta Falcons in 2007. The Sun Belt Showdown saw the Hilltoppers jump out to a 10-7 lead in the first quarter. The running and passing game for Western Kentucky proved to be nearly unstoppable as they combined for nearly 550 yards of offense and 6 scores. For Georgia State, redshirt sophomore quarterback Ronnie Bell passed for 325 yards and 2 scores. The Panthers' receiving corps also looked strong on offense as receivers Albert Wilson, Avery Sweeting, and Robert Davis all had over 70 yards of receiving for the day. Glimmers of hope for the Panthers, however, were blotted out as 6 penalties killed potential scoring drives and defensive stands. The early lead that the Hilltoppers achieved would not be relinquished as Western Kentucky defeated Georgia State at a final score of 44-28.
Our kids battled. Give Western Kentucky and Coach Petrino the credit. They found a way to win the football game. We dug ourselves a huge hole. We were unable to sustain any drives in the first half with our offense except for one big play. With too many 3-and-outs, left our defense on the field way too much, and they got tired. We can't turn the football over. There's very little margin for error with us, and unfortunately we dug ourselves a hole, but our kids battled back, made it a game. At one point it was a 10-point game, and they were able to go down and drive and extend the lead, but our kids showed again that they're fighters, and they went back down and got answered it and put themselves back in the game, but again, give Western Kentucky the credit.
Following the loss, the Georgia State Panthers will have an opportunity to recuperate over a bye week before facing the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette on Saturday, November 16th at the Georgia Dome. For GSTV Sports, I'm John Michael Drain.
Women's soccer is preparing for what's next, the Sun Belt Conference Championship. The Panthers play today for the first round in San Marcos, Texas, where they will show their fight to finish, as stated by GSU Athletics. After already defeating the #1 seed in the tournament, Western Kentucky 1-0 on October 25th. The goal against the Hilltoppers was 1 of 7 scored in the 8 Sun Belt matches by Ashley Nagy. Nagy is a sophomore at GSU who has become a leader for the Panthers. We sat down with her for this week's Athlete of the Week to find out how she has prepared for the championship tournament.
Why did you choose Georgia State?
I really liked Atlanta a lot, and it helped that it was close to home. I think I'm like 45 minutes south of here. I actually started really late. I didn't start till I was like 12 or 13, which most people start when they're like 5 or 6. So that was kind of interesting, I guess. But I started it and I liked it. Compared to last year to this year, it's just a big difference, and it's a lot better, and it's just a lot more fun since we're doing a lot better.
And are you looking forward to the Sun Belt Championship?
Oh, absolutely. Half our team, or over half our team's never been to a conference tournament, so it'll definitely an interesting atmosphere and like fun to be around, I'm sure.
And what would you say your favorite game has been this season?
Probably the Troy game, just because we won in overtime, and that's always fun. So probably definitely that one.
And you've been on a streak lately with
Yeah.
as many goals as you had. Has there been anything that you can credit to your success, or just practicing, training, or just?
I guess training, luck, a little bit of everything. Like everything's been stepped up, so it helps everyone get better. So it's probably a lot to do with that.
Tune in again next week to see who will appear on Athlete of the Week. This has been your GSTV Sports Update. I'm Neha Ali.
Thank you for watching this edition of Panther Report. Please visit us online for stories not featured in tonight's broadcast.
Follow us on Twitter at Panther_Report and like Panther Report on Facebook. I'm Jayla Bell.
And I'm Yasmina Alston. Have a good evening.